Hey everybody, it's Keith. Well, clearly it's Wednesday because I'm in bed. I'm in bed with you, and this is Wednesdays in Bed with Keith. So I was thinking about, through this coronavirus, we all are thinking about everything. I think all the time, and I think about everything, so this is nothing new. But I was thinking about how great it is that kids today have the opportunity to have a really, really nice moment to come out. Um, we didn't have that when I was growing up, and you definitely didn't want anyone to know you were gay. Like, I walked around like, oh yeah, no, I'm not gay. And, in the meantime, I would be like baking brownies and doing my mother's hair and fixing her nails when, all my other friends were out playing football. So, that was kind of a giveaway. And then my mother was shocked. She was like, oh my God, you're gay? And I was like, yeah. Oh my God, was it my fault? And I'm like, well, hell yeah, you made me do your nails. I mean, come on, woman. Which we know is not true. But I was thinking about my coming out. And I actually didn't have a coming out. I was sort of stripped of that opportunity because someone actually outed me. So I really always wondered what it would be like if I had had the opportunity to tell my mother. But this is how it went down. So I was having an affair. I'm just going to bluntly say it. I had met this person. He was a little bit older than me. I fell in love. We were like so connected, but he was wearing a ring. And I knew he was wearing a ring, and I should have run. Because I'm going to tell you right now, being the other woman is no place you ever want to be. It's not good for your mind. It's not good for your heart. It's just not good. So if you see a ring, whoosh, run. Like, get away from it as fast as you can. It should have repel, like properties. Like, it just repels people. So anyway, I did this not for a minute, but for 6 years. We were together for 6 years. And in those 6 years, we had some close calls, but I was pretty shrewd and I was pretty good at, concealing this whole situation. But one day I made the terrible, terrible decision to go to his home, and things got heated up and we started engaging in some behavior. So unbeknownst to us, his partner had seen me driving to their house. And all of a sudden, we could hear the garage door going up, and their bedroom was under the garage. So he could hear footsteps. So we were sort of like scrambling to get things done, but he knew where we were. And he comes running up the stairs, and there was this big scene. And it was like, oh my God, I can't believe this, blah, blah, blah. And of course, I was trying to hide everything. And I was like, no, nothing's happening. But in the meantime, little Keith was like, something's happened. I couldn't deny that. So all of a sudden, he goes over to the telephone and he's like, picks it up and he's dialing. And I'm thinking, oh my God, is he calling the police to have me like physically removed from the property? Or is he calling the mafia? And in retrospect, I wish he had called the mafia because he called my mother. And all of a sudden, he hands me the phone. And my mom is like, I don't know what's going on there, but get home and get home now, little man. Now, I'm 28 years old, or roughly, no, maybe not 28. I was like maybe about 26 years old. And I'm terrified of my mother. And she's like calling me little man. So I get in the car and I'm driving home. And as I pull into our driveway, I'm like, holy crap, I would rather like be sticking needles under my nails and in the pupils of my eyes than face this woman. So there she is on our front porch. And she's doing one of these with the hand on the head and shaking it. And I pull into the driveway and she just glances over at me and then she puts her hand back on her head. And I get out of the car and I'm like, hey, Mom, what's up? And she's like, don't you dare. And I was like, Mom, look, these things happen. I said, it wasn't like anything that you're thinking. She goes, it's exactly what I'm thinking. And I was like, well, not really. I said, we fell in love. I said, and it's just one of those things that happened. And she goes, really? She goes, well, here's something that should happen. You should go to church and you should talk to Father so-and-so. So I'm like, really? She's pulling the Catholic card? I mean, come on. The last time she was in church, by the way, was several years prior. And now she's telling me that I have to go to church and confess. So I said to her, Mom, I do talk to him. I said, I talk to him every Saturday that he's at the gay bar. He's gay. So she was like, what? So I said, he's gay. And she's like, oh my God. She's like, well, I don't know, she said, but you need to talk to somebody. She goes, because I don't want you talking to a psychiatrist because he'll just say it's my fault. And I was thinking to myself, so that's the problem. So anyway, she's like, I just want to know one thing. She says, do you take it in the butt? So I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me right now? So she was like, no, I want to know that because if you are, I just want you to know that you're going to hell. So I was like, oh my God. So I said to her, Mom, I said, you just asked me if I take it in the butt. I'm pretty sure I'm in hell right now, right? Like nobody wants to talk about their mother about anal sex. Like that's just taboo. You don't want to go there. So anyway, we sort of had this argument. Well, it wasn't really an argument. We had this cool sort of cooling off period. And she had nothing to do with me per se in my gay life. I was all there as long as I didn't say the word gay or I didn't act gay or I didn't bring him around or whatever. But the problem was I worked with him and she worked with us because she was my receptionist. So it got really heated and intense sometimes. But, you know, things sort of leveled off a little bit. And then my partner died. And my mother watched me mourn for like a solid year. And it was one of the craziest years of my life. And suddenly she realized that this was a very real thing, that I had loved this man and that my life was now broken. So when I went on to my second partner, when I finally found someone else and I fell in love, I said to her, look, I said, we're not going to do it that way anymore. I said, either you're going to be a part of my life and our life, or I'm not going to be a part of your life at all. And my mother basically just like walked up to him the next time she saw him and she was like, welcome to our family. And by the way, when she was dying, he was probably the last person she said, I love you to. So I think we all learn lessons in this life. And while my coming out had been taken from me, the journey to the end was a very beautiful and powerful thing. And so if people could just omit that middle, the really tough part, when you realize that perhaps as a parent, your dreams aren't that your child is going to, be gay. I know part of my mother's situation was she wanted grandchildren from me. And at that time, that was not going to happen. Today, it would be a different story. But I think that if you can just sort of get to that point and not have to have that middle, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing.